Hey everyone, welcome to the another episode of Evolve and Execute with Rajiv Bajaj. Today, our topic is scalable business system and process for growth. Our guest today is Mr. Sanket, founder of Scandalous Food. Uh, I would like to introduce myself. I'm CS Rajiv Bajaj, a startup coach and a mentor, and a change management expert. Here we decode the DNA of sustainable growth and what it takes to scale the business without burning out. So today we are driving into a crucial ingredient of long-term success, system and process. Most startups choose growth rather than they prepare for it. So building a business that runs without you just isn't the smart thing to do. I think the scalable business or building a scalable business is the key, and that is what we are going to talk to our guest today. We'll explore how to create the framework and that empowers you to learn from your team as well as streamline the operations and ensure that the growth doesn't come at a cost of a chaos. So, without further ado, I will request Mrs. Sanket to introduce himself and then we can have a freewheeling discussion with him. Over to you, Mrs. Sanket.
Thanks, Rajiv, for having me on Evolve and Execute with Rajiv Bajaj. I think you're doing a phenomenal job for the industry. Good morning to you and good evening to ladies and gentlemen in Mumbai and in India. I am Sanket S, founder of Scandalous Foods. I'm a serial food entrepreneur. I have been in the food space for 15 years now. I founded Urban Spice in 2011, grew it to make it one of the larger food OOH companies in India. Sold Urban Spice in October 2019. Then I founded a cloud kitchen company during the pandemic years of 21. Ran it for a year, but I wound that business up because I didn't find the long term prospects very great in it. And then eventually in 2022, I founded Scandalous Foods. Scandalous Foods is a one stop shop for popular Indian mithais for the restaurant industry. We are a B2B company manufacturing our own sweets in Nasik and supplying to about 9 cities in India. And we've seen some phenomenal growth in this company in the last 30 months. And yeah, happy to be here with you, Rajiv. Over to you.
Great to see entrepreneur who has grown over the years, and that is what we are going to talk about today. How recognizing the need for scalable business systems is important. So, Sanket, every startup hits a tipping point where things start breaking. Too many orders, too many people, too many, but the time is limited always. So, how did you realize that it was time to move from hustle to structured approach, and when you made that shift?
Rajiv, I think, it's, something very interesting about our startup culture is, I mean, and of course, India is still in a very, I would say, in a very adolescent stage of the startup culture, right? I mean, back in 2011, when I started Urban Spice, तब उसको startup नहीं, उसको धंधा कहते थे, business कहते थे. Then it's in 2013-14, we started hearing the word startup a lot. And then, it picked up pace in the 2016-18 era. And now you see, I mean, every college going person wants to be a startup, wants to be a founder, which is amazing because India obviously needs a lot of startups to come into the picture, which will also help create employment in silos, right? So, during Urban Spice, uh, I had we were obviously so Urban Spice majorly scaled up between 2016 to 19, and what I had noticed, I mean, when I look back, I realized that we used to hero worship the word जुगाड़, we used to hero worship the word hustle, और हमें ऐसा लगता था कि हम स्टार्टअप और बड़े कॉर्पोरेट में द डिफरेंस इज दैट वी कैन नॉट we cannot be bound by systems and processes. All we need to do is keep hustling. So, in hindsight, what I realized was when I sold, I mean, I was fortunate that I could keep scaling Urban Spice and I managed to sell it. But, I mean, if I have to go back and see, what I would want to change in Urban Spice would be, instilling systems, instilling processes, instilling culture in the company. Because, running a company without processes is like, riding, let's say, how do I put it? Riding a tiger, if you stop riding the tiger and get down, the tiger will eat you up. So that is
Mm.
how the hustle culture is. If you, you are riding a tiger, and the day anything fails, and because you are not backed by any system and process, that tiger is going to eat you up and is going to probably eat the whole company up. So
Right.
uh, when I founded Scandalous Foods, I was very clear that this time around we would want to, have systems and processes in place. We would want to work around processes. And of course, it was not that on day zero we installed processes. It's also very important to introduce processes which are important for the company, which will help scale the company in the right direction and not create roadblocks. So that is how we started doing it. I mean, in Urban Spice, we scaled to doing about like from doing 2 tons of food a month to doing about 16 tons of food a month. We would see, drop in quality. We would see drop in, I mean, increasing customer complaints. We would see logistical issues. We would see, core team burnout. So we've seen all of that. So that is when I realized the importance of processes, basically.
Perfect. Perfect. So, what were the earliest cracks you noticed? Because you yourself mentioned that the team, sometime outperform, but in that speed itself, there is always a chance of crash. So, whether it was a customer complaints or a team burnout or operational delays, what was the earlier sign which you got from your such experience?
So again, I'll take, like Urban Spice as an example. I mean, we saw that eventually we scaled to doing about so OOH, just to before I speak about it, OOH is out of home services. So when you eat
Right.
food outside your home, but not at a restaurant, when you eat food at a music event, at a trade exhibition, at a cricket match, that's called out of home services with respect to food.
Yeah.
So just to set a context, Urban Spice has done in 3 years more than 2,200 events across 14 cities in India and sold more than 4 crore meals. And then we've also done a lot of B2B work with Food Panda and Uber Eats because of our prowess with frozen food, right? So there were days where we would do 7 events in a city. We would handle 3 cities in a day, and despite having so much, on ground experience, every event would feel like it's the first event. कोई प्रोसेस था नहीं, कोई सिस्टम था नहीं. So हर इवेंट में वही, I mean, that the word बसड़ होती थी.
Mm.
I mean, there used to be chaos. I mean, I mean, I used to keep telling people at that time that chaos is beautiful. Chaos has created mountains. I mean, nature's chaos has
Right.
created mountains. Chaos has created rocks. बट वो मन
Mm.
को बहलाने वाली बातें होती थी. हर जगह पे बियॉन्ड पॉइंट chaos is not beautiful.
Right.
We started realizing then when we were doing cloud kitchens for Uber Eats, we set up 52 cloud kitchens in 4 months in 5 cities. And I saw the team getting burnt out. I mean, we used to be awake till 2:30 in the night, wake up at 7 in the morning. It was madness. And I mean, that's not healthy for the company and the people working in the company. That's when I realized
Right.
that processes need to come into the picture.
Perfect. Perfect. So, before systematizing or before setting the processes, what were the things which you found yourself repeating over and over? And that was the major bottleneck so that, for the benefit of our audience who can learn from your experience.
So I think all of us as entrepreneurs, we concentrate on the core, right? So, I mean, like, for example, I'm a food entrepreneur. So I
Yeah,
would concentrate on the product, I would concentrate on the client, I would concentrate on supply chain. But none of us pay attention to cash flows. None of us pay attention to P&L. I keep telling people that, there should be a crash course in finance for entrepreneurs. It's very important. And
yeah,
by default, by virtue of not giving it importance and, depending on great professionals like yourself, like the CS and the CAs of the world, we as entrepreneurs think that यार हमारे सीए कर लेंगे हमारा सीएस कर लेंगे और हम उस पर कभी ध्यान नहीं देते. So usko, anyways, we are low on processes, and the worst processes we have is to handle P&L, is to handle cash flows. So I think in our business, what was very important was at scale, the costing, the inventory management, the cash flow, the P&L. This is something that we, because we had no process, it was so helter skelter that we used to do this like literally every day. It used to feel like, if you've seen the movie 51st dates. So every day in the morning, it felt like you're waking up with some amnesia. You don't remember what has happened yesterday, and then you're repeating the same thing again today. So it obviously was a lot of waste of man hours within the company, right? Doing the same thing again just because you don't have a process. So that is what was very repetitive when we didn't have processes in place.
oh, that's a very, very important input. And that is what I think all entrepreneurs, despite knowing the fact that this is going to create a chaos, they keep on repeating it and realize it very late. So, did you follow any framework like OKRs, Six Sigma, or Lean for your internal processes, or it was very intuitive and you found that, okay, no, I need to focus on this area?
So now, Rajiv, in Scandalous Foods, we are doing a lot of that. So, I mean, during the pandemic, obviously, thankfully, nature gave us time to read a lot of books. So I got into the small habit of reading 10 pages a day. And I read lean startup, I read about lean manufacturing, then I read about theory of constraints. Then I became a fan of theory of constraints. So now, since we are a manufacturing company, we are a food processing company, we are incorporating a lot of processes based on lean manufacturing, TOC, which is theory of constraints, and OKRs is, I mean, it's of course that is so. I mean, that is part and parcel of most companies, right? So that has to be there. Six Sigma is something that we've not yet attained a level where we follow Six Sigma,
Okay,
but that is
okay.
something that I would want to get into supply chain. I mean, I would want to get a Six
Yes,
Sigma green belt, black belt to oversee
absolutely.
the supply chain bit of it.
That will definitely change more your business and bring lots of processes, I'm sure. So, how do you approach the documentation? Have you created some SOPs, some process manuals, or onboarding kits for your people?
So, I think in today's day and age, Rajiv, it's important to look to tech enablers. So, we've gotten Zoho. I mean, we're using Zoho in a big way. So we use Zoho
Mhm.
Books, we use Zoho Inventory, we use Zoho People. We're then we've obviously uh, you know synced up a lot of SOPs. I mean, in terms of process manuals, uh,
Yeah,
which are proprietary, which are made by our team members. So there is so we have an NPD chef who also doubles up as a L&D guy. So what I've realized is, Rajiv, that in startups like us, uh, there is no importance given to a learning and development person or a learning and development module. So we've introduced that recently. We've introduced we have weekly meetups with our managers. We tell them the importance of following these processes and how following these processes makes their life easier. And now they have begun realizing this, and they are now putting it's going. So it's a very top-down approach, right? Now and like it becomes even more difficult to install it with the blue collar guys. Your in
right.
our case like the halwais, the packaging guys, and all. So what we've now done is we've made videos like four
Hmm.
4 minute videos, and we are teaching them via that. And now, of course, to make it interesting for them, so when they watch three product videos or three process videos, they get to see. I mean, during work hours, like so basically 1 to 2 is lunch break. So 2 to 2:30 is this is the exercise that happens thrice a week. So 2 to 2:20 they see these process videos, and 2:20 to 2:30 they are allowed to see three Bhojpuri songs or whatever songs on YouTube. So that is how we make
Nice.
fun to fun for them, and this is how we are inculcating processes even at the blue collar level.
Oh, that's excellent. That's a very good tip for others who are looking to take care of their employee spirits also. So,
Yeah.
once the blueprint is ready, I think it is very important that the system should be embedded without losing agility into your overall organization. So, how do you implement it without stifling creativity or overwhelming your team so that they also adopt it whatever you are trying to teach?
Yeah. So see, I mean, any system that slows down the process is obviously a system not worth implementing, right? And I think it's not the so while we blame systems and processes, I think what slows down things in the company is what I've noticed even with my peers, competitors, and others, and I try to keep this away from the company. The number one thing is hierarchical decision making. Like when your company is young, I think you need to work in a very linear way. If you create too many hierarchies and you do not allow your younger leaders to take small decisions, and if they're fearful of the the reaction that would come from their action, that is what slows down the company, and it's never the systems and processes. So when if we say that systems and processes is stifling creativity, I think we are just making the wrong person a Ravan. I mean,
Yeah.
calling Vibhushan Ravan, you're not going to make. I mean, you can't. So you can't say that Ravan is the good guy and Vibhishan is the bad guy, right? ऐसे नहीं होता है.
Mm, yeah. No, I got a you very well explained this aspect. And people sometimes feel that this is because of system and processes, but it is not so. I have written a book also recently on change management. That is the start the change to move up. Because if you have to adapt to the changing situations, and you not only you have to do it, you have to make your team also adopt the same. Only then things will start working well. And what is the biggest resistance point you got from your team where they didn't want to change, and how you made them buy that?
See, I think what happens, Rajiv, is that I mean, you're always I mean, we've all heard that story of that frog in the well, right? I
Yeah,
mean, if you put a frog in a well with lukewarm water, he's never going to bother jumping out of it because, he's now become comfortable in that zone of his. So even if, with your people, even if things are chaotic, but they've become so comfortable in that chaos. And, what I've realized is it sometimes just gives them that mental belief that allows them to be important because वो chaos है तो वो रोज जाके वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहा है और उसको अपने आप को वो इम्पोर्टेंट फील कर रहा है so it's
uh,
important to kind of make them I mean the best way to do it is I mean how ROIs work. I mean someone had put it very well. ROIs work where some people you need to show them profit, some people you need to show them fear. So,
yeah,
when let's say if you're explaining to your grandmother कि आप म्यूचुअल फंड में 100 रुपए डालो आपको 12% साल का मिलेगा, उनको शायद नहीं समझेगा. पर आप उनको बोलोगे कि आप 100 रुपए डालो आपको 4 साल बाद 200 मिलेगा, वो तुरंत शायद एफडी निकाल के उसमें डाल देगी बिकॉज शी बी लाइक अरे यार बढ़िया है बिकॉज वो 100 200 समझती, शी अंडरस्टूड प्रॉफिट. अब आप लेट्स
right.
से इफ आई गो टू अ कंपनी एंड इफ आई हैव टू पिच अ प्रोडक्ट टू अ कॉर्पोरेट, मेरे को वो एडमिन को फियर दिखाना पड़ेगा क्योंकि मैं तो उससे खर्चा
Mhm.
करवा रहा हूँ. तो उसका कॉस्ट सेंटर
Yeah.
मुझे करवाना है तो मुझे उसको बोलना पड़ेगा कि अगर आप इस पे 2 लाख खर्चा नहीं करोगे तो हो सकता है आपका 25 लाख का नुकसान होगा. दैट इज वेन ही विल, बिकॉज दैट इज द फियर. द ROI ऑफ फियर विल मेक हिम बाय दिस प्रोडक्ट. So that ROI
Right.
of fear, so in your company also you will have people, some will buy the ROI of fear, some will buy the ROI of profit. So that you need to be a people judge and accordingly, give them these things to adapt to the processes. किसी को आप
Right.
दिखाओगे कि यार तू लीडरशिप, उसको लीडरशिप गोल्स दिखाओ. किसी को आपको दिखाना पड़ेगा तू ये नहीं करेगा, so then there is a chance of somebody else coming and taking over your place. And you need to show them the importance of delegation. I mean, we as Indians, we've lived for probably 400, 500 years, under people, right? Like Britishers, Mughals,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
So by default,
Yeah.
we are very insecure in nature. So that
Yeah.
insecurity, it'll take a few more generations to go out. So we need to deal with the insecurity for them to adapt to processes and systems, is what I feel.
Right. Very well explained. So, how do you balance systematizing while staying responsive to the customer feedback? Because at the end of the day, you have to deal with the customer and make them happy. I worked with Japanese companies all my life, so customer is a god for them, in the
Yeah.
philosophy. So, how do you balance that out?
So how about systemizing customer service, right? I mean, I keep telling a lot of my colleagues in the industry that आजकल हमारे hospitality industry से hospitality निकल गई है. So, the
Yeah.
customer service. So, it's very important to systemize the customer service, right? So, for us, in the B2B space, if there is a complaint that comes from a customer, our first response, I mean, this we've learned from Amazon, right? I mean, you have to learn from the giants. That no questions
Right.
asked, pehle, we start with apologizing. If it's a small thing, we start with giving a credit note. Then we go and do a RCA, root cause analysis. And
Right.
if in the root cause analysis we feel that it's not our mistake and theirs, then we try to diplomatically tell the client that yeah, this is not at our end, it's at your end. If it's at our end, we also then do a kappa, which is corrective action, preventive action. So
Right.
this is a system that we've made to make customer service flawless. And honestly, if you go in our company, whether it's our ops manager, whether it's a logistics manager, whether it's our sales coordinator, or whether it's a QC guy, they will all deal with you in the method that I've just told you if you're a customer.
Perfect. Perfect. So we are all learning, our lessons during, our entrepreneurship journey. So, what do you think was the biggest lesson which you learned over these years in creating these scalable systems, which didn't had just uh, handle the growth, but it fueled it?
So I think respecting inventory management and cash flow management is the most important thing. All of us. I mean, of course, if you're running a business, uh, sales to paramount. I mean, without
Yeah.
sales, there's going to be nothing. But now what I've realized over time, what someone had very interestingly told me was, cash flow is kingdom, uh, top line is prince, bottom line is king. But without the kingdom, there is no king and prince, right? So it's very
Yeah. Yeah.
important to understand cash flows, then pay importance to bottom line, then pay importance to top line in that order. So I think this is the single most important thing that I learned, that laying importance on cash flows is very important. And sometimes it's the cliches that help you. Like someone very early in my Urban Spice days had told me back in I think 2012, 13, ke, like, I remember this Kirana guy had told me कि बेटा तेरे कंपनी में आने का रास्ता एक ही है, जाने के रास्ते 11 है. वो जाने के रास्ते जितने रोकेगा उतना कंपनी के अंदर रहेगा. What he meant was inflow is just the revenue, but
Right.
outflow is raw material, packaging material, logistics, manpower, wastage, pilferage. So at least the wastage
Yeah.
pilferage is in our hands. If you can stop the wastage pilferage, your profits will automatically go up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's $1 million advice for everyone. Sometimes we feel that the founders are losing their startup soul and they, become too bugged up with the overall situation. So, how did you keep the uh, overall culture of scaling within your organization? Any tips for our, you know,
So,
leaders here?
I mean, I mean, the whole idea of we not I mean, it's very important to have clarity. Ke why have you started up, right? I mean, a lot of us are now starting up for the wrong reasons. આજકલ, I mean, I was telling this media journalist, like a startup magazine ka journalist friend of mine, you know, you guys have done more bad than good. You guys have glamorized startup funding so much that every 21-year-old wants to be a startup for the wrong reason. आप कोई 21-year-old को आज पूछो, वो बोलता है कि I want to become a startup because I can raise $100 million in 5 years. I mean, that can be your end goal, right? That will happen if you create a sustainable company. There has to be a great product market fit, and that is when someone will give you money to scale up, right?
Mm.
So once you have clarity on why you've started up and what your vision is, you have clarity in your vision and mission, you will not lose your startup soul. I mean, of course, there will be times uh, where you will be like, "यार ये मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ?" Because there will be a lot of pressure on you,
Yeah,
and that will bog you down. So that is motivation. But I'm sure that any startup that has founded a company with the right reasons, with the right vision, with the right mission, will never lose the startup soul, right? I mean, like for example, we are very clear that we want to become the biggest mithai wala in the unplanned purchase space. So if we are
yeah,
clear and if we know that there is a huge market there to capture, why would we lose our startup soul? And uh, yeah, we could get demotivated because चलो sales नहीं हो रहा है या हमारा processes in place नहीं है. So it's the other
yeah,
things that make you lose the startup soul. Again, we keep blaming the wrong Ravana. So वो startup soul इसके लिए जाता है क्योंकि हमारे पास process नहीं है, हमारे पास system नहीं है, हमारे we don't have like fixed matrix to work inside. इसके लिए we
right.
then blame it on the startup soul getting lost.
Right, right. So one of the interesting round we have is a rapid fire round where we will just ask you quick questions and one line and answers for that. So one word that define your scaling style.
I think intentional.
Perfect. What is the system that changed your business forever?
Uh, in the current, it is cash flow management.
Yeah, so I believe you have really caught up with this cash flow management, and that is actually I am a finance person by profession. Uh, Cash flow is the soul for controlling your business, and without cash, you can't survive. How go to your which is your go-to software for process management?
For process management,
Yeah.
Zoho, and for people management, Asana.
Oh yeah, Asana is very good.
Yeah.
Uh, One quote that inspires your approach to scale.
So think mission backwards, not resource forward.
Perfect. One mistake that you will never repeat while scaling again.
Mm, like I said, I obviously have repeated that a lot of times. Uh, I mean, in fact, to add to that, I mean, I've already spoken about cash flow management, inventory management. So instead of repeating that, I think learning the art of delegation is very important. I
Yes,
mean, as first time founders, you think you are indispensable and आपके बिना तो कोई department चल ही नहीं सकता है. You need to
absolutely.
uh, remove the me out of you and
Absolutely.
remove the insecurities out of you and learn to delegate. You hired people for a reason, right?
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. What is the most underrated system in a startup?
Underrated system. I
Yeah,
think uh, internal communications. What I've seen
yes.
is companies को internal communications आधा मान लेती है. I mean, we will do everything to communicate with the customer and the outsider and digital marketing. Internal communications is like pura khokla, which is very wrong.
Yeah, right. So you nailed it. I think this has been a most important part of our discussion. So when we look back, every growth needs structuring. Every founder needs to upgrade the knowledge base, as you said, that 10 minutes given to the reading every day. And systems are not boring; they are liberating. Culture doesn't die with scale. You have to maintain that, and you have to maintain the soul of your organization. So, what is the any key takeaway message you want to give our audience on scaling, particularly?
So, you know, I, so while talking, when you would ask me the last question, and then, by the time we jumped into the the rapid fire, there was one anecdote that I remember.
Right.
I remember back a few years ago, I had gone to a dietitian, like a very popular dietitian here in Bombay, and she used to make me do something very interesting. So for like 1 month, she used to put me on like a really strict diet, and then the next month used to be sustenance. So I think this is how we need to grapple with scaling also in a company. So you will see 3 months of rapid scaling, but you need to then have another quarter of sustaining it, because if you go behind, I mean, a hockey stick growth is something that all of us dream of, but it's not practical beyond a point. So, a hockey stick growth beyond a point will leave a lot of holes that you would not have plugged below. So, जहाँ कभी भी वो U turn आएगा ना, so you will just go down into the black holes. So it's very important to scale, sustain, and that's when you will be able to eventually make a huge company that you will be proud of. Your people who've participated will be proud of.
Perfect, perfect. So thank you very much, Mr. Sanket. That was a very interesting discussion. Lots of inputs and lots of new ideas for the startups on scaling and implementing, and lot to learn from your overall experience. Any last thing you want to discuss or you want to give as a tip to our viewers here?
So I think think, like I said, think mission backward, not resource forward, and motivation is important, but process is key. Motivation is not going to oil your business. The process is going to keep the foundation of your business is strong. So lay importance on processes, and I think I'm going to tell my colleagues to read your book on change management, Rajiv. So I think you
Sure.
I mean, with all your
Sure.
experience, I'm sure it's a great book. I'm also going to read it, and I look forward to reading it, and I will give you feedback on that.
I will have it sent across to you, and we'll share the link also here. So thank you very much, and to all our listeners, if you are dreaming big, don't forget to build the backend, because that is what I think we hear and learn from Mr. Sanjay today. Growth should be like an evolution, not an exhaustion. Keep refining your systems, keep trusting your team, and remember, scale smart and scale slow, but do scale, and you must have a target of adding a growth to your journey. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Any last comment?
So yeah, so just to add to what Rajiv just said, I think don't build castles in the air. Build the foundation very strong, and then your skyscraper will sustain. Castles in the air when you wake up in the morning will not be there anymore.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. And thanks a lot. Bye bye. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
Rajiv. See you. Bye bye.